All right, guys, I'm going to go through 2.1 with you. Even though I'm going through it in class, this is a chance if you need to look at it again or listen to it again, or if you're not here, I'm going to take you through each bit of this, okay? So this portfolio piece is all about family engagement. So make sure you're really looking through what I have in here, okay? So the prompt itself is to describe the value, which here I've listed to help you the advantages and importance of effective family/caregiver involvement between school and families to best support learner development. Okay, so here's what this means. Okay, so this right here is the prompt from the state of Ohio. This right here is how to go about addressing this prompt so that you can get full credit. Okay, so pay attention because we're looking at the advantage and the importance of the support. So those are kind of can be two different things. Also, you want to make sure that you're talking about those in relationship to this. So the advantage of the support, this connection, and how it improves student engagement and also success and progress. So this part right here is huge right now, okay? Because we have so many kids learning from home that this connection between families and school is absolutely necessary and important. And so, even just looking at your Twitter feed or whatever, if you follow Mason Schools, you can see like just absolute overload of information for school and home. One of the reasons for that is to get this engagement piece, okay? So you really want to focus on that. The other part of this is you're always going to be providing evidence of the involvement. So in your digital portfolio, you will always have links to videos, web pages, documents, pictures, etc. So you need a lot of evidence for this. And because this is a digital portfolio, this is super easy to do. Um, so just keep that in mind. So here's the thing. We all can say, oh, it's really important for students, to have that connection with parents. It increases accountability, blah, blah, blah. That's great. But that's like one little tiny bit of what our research is saying about the actual advantage and importance and how it relates to student engagement and success and progress. So don't stop just with, oh, it's important to talk to each other, blah, blah, blah. Accountability, like that's a jumping off point, but that's not the whole piece here. So one of the things you're going to do is I would suggest the first thing you do is actually look at Mason's website to look to see how we do it here. Now you are going to have your own experience to use here, which in all of these portfolio pieces, you really need to be pulling on your own experience because that is direct evidence. You are a primary source. But if you go into Mason City Schools, so I just have clicked on here, MI, you can go to any school. This is just specifically about MI because that's where I happen to click. Okay, so what you can look at, if we're looking just at MI, we have all kinds of things. We have e-flyers. This is information that goes home. We have Schoology links, which is all about that connection. Families can see everything that's going on. You have School Messenger. This is a way to be updated with all school information, grades, all this kind of stuff. So that is all stuff that you can do, right? The other part of it is you can come in. We also have calendars, blah, blah, blah. So this is all really good sort of like information for parents, and every single school has this kind of stuff, okay? You can also look at, so on the district home, see if it'll go. There we go. Let's see. So we have all these tools. You have Mason Connect. So these are all different ways of connecting, which all that's evidence. But that is not necessarily talking about how this supports student success and all that different kind of stuff. So as you go through, and you guys, this is really just you doing a lot of clicking and looking through as you guys are working on this, when you find good stuff, share it with each other. Um, there are a lot of different ways to do this, and it all needs to be unique to you, but certainly you guys can help each other with this. Okay? So just as a reminder, this information and communicating, like here's a coronavirus update, this is great and you want to use it, but remember that the prompt is to look at how this actually improves student engagement and success and encourages progress. So the evidence um, is great to show that they do it and the ways that they do it, links, newsletters, etc. Just make sure though that you're not ignoring this part of advantage and importance, okay? So these are ideas for artifacts. Now, I have linked 3 incredibly strong resources for you to look at. What I like about these is it talks about research. It also talks about that's good. Benefits. So these are some things that you might not have thought about initially. One of the advantages is you can connect your students' background, knowledge, interest, culture, right? We know that promotes engagement when kids are represented in the materials, in the classroom, etc. We've talked a lot about that. So this is something that you would really want to focus on. There's actually links in here too to take you to some of that research. Don't be lazy, okay, and just copy and paste stuff and cite it. When you find something that you think really makes your point for you, certainly use it. Do not just link to a web page and expect your reader to do the work of going through and reading all of this, okay? Do not do that because your graders will not want to do that and your score will take a hit. Looking at this kind of stuff about how right here, how these families and this connection encourages engagement and support. So this is the kind of stuff you want to do. In addition, thinking about right here, connecting for differentiation, personalized instruction. We've talked a lot about the ways that we learn. Think about to your parents, and I know, so for me, I get like Google Forms and stuff every year from teachers saying, tell us a little bit about your student strengths, weaknesses. All the teachers do this. So reach out perhaps to some of your former teachers, send some emails out, okay? And again, if you can't think of anyone to email and your friend, whoever, does, you can use that same information, right? So for instance, Mrs. Niffen, Luke's math teacher, sent out a Google form with some questions and we gave feedback. All right, well, you could share that with a couple of your classmates to use as an example, even though that didn't come directly from you, okay? Um, so this is really good information. Also right here, okay, this idea of empowering families. So this has sort of been about empowering teachers. We have some information about empowering families, especially with IEPs and 504s. So then also it gives like some ideas and all that kind of stuff. So we have high expectations. So we have different kinds of things. The other resource is similar. It actually defines engagement, which I think is really interesting. And this would be something that you want to look through because it's not just parents checking grades, looking at things like involving them in school meetings, events, volunteering support. Of course, parents can't go into classrooms right now, but that doesn't mean, that doesn't mean that you never can. So, sorry, I clicked on that. So why it is important. Again, we have some stuff about digital tools right now. There's a lot of information. I want you to pay attention to this kind of thing about not all parents are going to be able to volunteer or attend conferences. We've talked about this before, about transportation issues, etc. I think also this is key, the low income and minority families and all this kind of stuff. So please think beyond the obvious and really dig into this, here we have a direct connection about student success. We have all of this. This would be an amazing piece of evidence to link. Screenshot this. Make sure you cite your website, okay? So this is the kind of things, this is how to increase parent engagement. So this is one of many, many, many resources that are really good. Do not forget about our equity lens, okay? So teaching tolerance is always a really great resource. Everything that you guys are doing this year, always think about, what does this mean for our most marginalized students? You guys have probably a lot of family support, right? Some of you would argue even too much. But now let's think about, not every school is Mason City Schools. So this is about school closure, which is really important because your information needs to be relevant and timely. So anyway, like a teaching tolerance, this article has a lot of information that I think would be important. So this is all about assumptions and then sort of how to break through that, okay? So these are a few. I've put them in here because I think it's really important that you read at least these three pieces. Do not limit yourself to these three websites. The other thing you need to do is talk to someone in the world of education about this. It can be a teacher, can't talk anymore. It can be a counselor. It can be a principal. It can be a teacher aide. It could be anybody who is in the world of education. It doesn't have to be somebody from Mason, okay? Um, if you can make it happen, talk to several, but you need some perspective outside of your own, and you want real life information from the world of education, okay? I cannot be a resource for these pieces. That is against the rules. So this is where you guys have a lot of independence and you can sort of drive that train and figure out who to talk to and that kind of stuff. I know this is uncomfortable. Some of you are sitting here going, oh my gosh, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody. Okay, talk to one of your teachers that you have this year, right? Say, hey, I'm doing this portfolio piece. Here's what it's about. Do you have any stories you could tell me? Do you have any strategies? Have you ever seen parent engagement and involvement help student success? Can you tell me that story? So you guys do have access to a ton of teachers. Um, I mean, it might not be your first grade teacher, but think about if you have siblings in school, look at what their teachers are doing and what your family is doing. So you guys are professional students. You have experience with this. Now you're at the point where you're bringing research in to prove your ideas. Okay? Okay. So work to be creative. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Use your own voice. Make this portfolio unique to you. Stories help with that. Certainly, your own experiences help with that. This is going to be messy because it's the first one. That's okay. You guys can come back and tweak these. You have the whole semester and some change to do it. Okay. I know you can do this well. I know you can do this well. I'm very, very encouraged. You guys, like, you know how to do this. You know what you're doing. You're all hard workers. I have no doubt that you can handle this. All right. If you have questions, first ask each other. Let's remember, empower each other. And then what you're still lost with, ask me. The one thing I don't want to be asked is, am I doing this right? Because the answer will be, is that the way you want to do it? You guys, as long as you're doing this and you're following my directions, you're putting some resources in here, you're digging in here to some sort of broader ideas about the topic, as long as you're talking to someone in the world of education, you're fine. What I would say is the APA stuff, you can do that at the end, but do keep a running document somewhere of all the websites that you're using, etc. Okay? When it comes to like resources with, let's say, an email, that you're going to cite as an interview, we can talk about that later. But do keep track of all your resources so that you're not stuck later trying to find that one website, because you forgot to link it or whatever. Okay? I have faith in you. You guys are going to do amazing. And we're doing this together. The reason I'm doing these videos is because number one, I know that I talk quickly. Number two, I know that I sometimes jump around in the way, that I explain things because it makes sense in my head, but not yours. So that's why I have all of this written out, and then you guys can come back in to this video and look at it again, listen to it, look at some of the resources, etc. Okay. Also, if you're not here for some reason, you will have access to this information. All right. Okay. You guys can do this.